The moon and Mars in aspect. This is one of the aspects that I've actually been kind of excited to talk about, and that's mainly due to the fact that I feel like it's an exciting aspect. The moon and Mars in aspect, you're dealing with your emotional nature as well as your ability to fight, to be aggressive, to have drive and ambition. People with the moon and Mars in aspect, especially in the more positive aspects of it, I guess you could say, like the sextile or the trine. The conjunction, I think, can go both ways on this. Normally had a maternal figure that like really stressed to them the importance of putting up a fight, of being assertive, of being tough, of not giving in and not having to lower yourself in the face of adversity. I know with the negative aspects between the moon and Mars, you can often have a mother that was kind of aggressive. You can have a mother who kind of bullied you, maybe in a sense, or made you feel like you were being emotionally accosted in a way. But the moon and Mars in aspect just gives people this fiercely protective drive, definitely. This desire to stand up for themselves as well as other people. Due to the moon being more of an intuitive thing, sometimes if you have the moon and Mars in aspect, you can see people that are um, potentially a little bit too overly aggressive, like people that are sensitive to the perceived criticisms of other people. Whether or not people are actually criticizing them or not is really kind of up for debate. It's kind of the whole astrology, what comes first, the chicken or the egg analogy, essentially. But regardless, you aren't going to be the kind of person that takes crap from anybody. Not, at least not willingly. You're not going to sit back and take crap from others. Now, if your Mars is in a more subdued position, say like Pisces or Cancer, something that is more calm and kind of not big on confrontation, it might be a little bit different, but still it is going to give you a little bit of a aggressive drive, even if it doesn't come out very harshly. Depending on your moon sign, this will obviously differ as well. Um, the moon and Mars in aspect are just, you are a fighter from birth. You are not the kind of person to like let anybody walk all over you or the people that you care about. You are going to be competitive and you're going to feel a drive to really kind of stand up for yourself and get what you want and not be put down or bullied by other people. And you're not going to have a hard time speaking out, especially if you have a more positive aspect. Like I said, a negative aspect, like a square or an opposition, it might be a little bit tougher. You might have had to deal with a maternal figure that was a little bit aggressive towards you, even. But really, in the case of the moon and Mars being an aspect, your sensitivity is your secret weapon in a sense. Once that sensitive drive is enabled in you, that's when you are ready and willing to put up a fight like a little Aries warrior. The moon and Mars in aspects, so obviously, with Aries being the ruler of Mars, you might have a little bit more of an Aries tone to your emotional nature. You might be a little bit more combative than some, especially with like the conjunction. Then you're really seeing the strong Martian-like traits come out in the emotionality of the person. Another thing that we often see with the moon and Mars in aspect is this desire to never come off as weak, kind of. And that can either be an incredible thing, especially if you have like a more gentle nature to you, say like you're a water sign or, well, I don't know, Scorpio could be a little bit tough in that situation, but it could give you the extra oomph, I guess, that you need to not come off as a pushover, to kind of take on this kill or be killed mentality, but that's more so with a negative aspect, and I'm kind of getting off track. Pretty much, though, the moon and Mars, it's just what the moon and Mars represent, if you think about it. I mean, the moon is your intuition, it's your emotionality, it's what's passed on to you from your mother, it's your reactions to emotional situations, and it is very, very intuitive. It's not something that's on the surface. It is deep within your recesses. You don't have much control over your reactions. So you're mixing that with an angry and aggressive and rah, 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 Aries like energy with Mars. Obviously, your Mars sign is going to flavor that as well. But you're mixing those two together, and you are an emotional fighter. You are tough. You can withstand uh, the frustrations from the people around you simply because you know how to fight them off. You know how to stand your ground and tell people that it's not okay what they're doing. And yeah, That's pretty much what the moon and Mars together in aspect will show you in your birth chart. You are one tough fighter of a person, warrior.